Hello, Rob here from the Flanagan Homestead. We recently had one of those ice storms that coated the trees with ice and then a ton of winds. So trees are down all over the place. I'm going to go check out the damage, and there's one pretty big fir, probably about 90-foot tall fir that fell across the driveway. I'm going to clean that up for firewood and see how much wood we can get. And it actually snapped off about 40 feet high, 50 feet high, I guess. I haven't looked at it too closely, so I'm going to fall the rest of that, hopefully right back towards the road, easier to get. Clean up, and let's check out the damage and see how many trees are down. Most years I don't have to decide which trees I'm taking down for firewood. There's usually a winter storm that takes the weaker ones down, and I find a way to access it, clean them up, and turn them into firewood. Sometimes I'll clear out a section on the property so that I can start replanting with a more valuable species of wood, but anyway, wood is down. Here's our greatest casualty from the storm. My neighbor and I built this parking space because we're so slope property just to park vehicles, and they had parked their tracker up there. During the ice storm, this tree popped off at about 35 feet, came down and landed horizontally across the tracker. Perfectly balanced. The trunk is not on the ground, the top is not on the ground, and all the weight went into the hood and glass. There's trees down like this all over the property, which you might think, oh, that's too bad, but if you live here, you could see that the alders grow in here really thick. I mean, there's trees everywhere, and they're grown in too thick, and they can't all keep growing that, so the weaker ones die off, and the winter storms take them down. And to be honest, winter storms help keep us safe. What I mean by that is if these trees that get weak and are ready to fall don't have a big heavy snow and a wind to knock them down while we're all in our houses cuddled up staying warm, then they'll just fall down in the middle of the summer randomly sometime, and we might be hiking out here or whatnot. But most of the trees coming down, it's in the middle of a winter storm while we're inside, and then we can come outside and just clean things up. The trees got knocked down from the ice and wind and fell across the road. This one's across the road. This one I wasn't surprised, because when I built the road and dug out down here, I compromised the roots. I wasn't surprised to see that go, especially in the storm. But then one of the bad things, so I'm walking up in the middle of the road. You could, obviously I'm not driving a quad here, but when this tree fell, you can't see it very well, but this tree got knocked down and the root ball tipped up. That root ball was holding my road together, and now I'm going to have to do some pretty extensive packing of dirt in there and to rebuild this. But all right, you can see the logs on the ground that I've been cleaning up. The top of this tree that snapped off fell this way. I've cleaned it up, I've cut it up into firewood rounds, and taken it back to the house. Today I am going to fall the rest of this dead snag. The goal is to fall it right through those two trees right here, fall it right to where I'm standing, maybe hook it up onto a cable, pull it a little further out into the road where I can work on it more easily, and then go from there. So first thing, let's see if we can fall it right between these two trees. Now that we got the tree down, you can see why it popped off about half its height at about 45, 50 feet high. The top that I already cut up for rounds of firewood was real solid wood. What I cut through at the base was real solid. So it's like, why is this tree weak? But there's where it popped in the middle, and you can see there's termite runs in here, and there's some rotted wood in here. So this wood was definitely the weak part of the log right here. So I'm going to cut off a couple feet here that doesn't look like it's very good. Just let that roll off into the woods, and then the rest of it I'm going to turn into firewood. It's funny how these projects go sometimes. I brought my smaller dump trailer, 5x10, because it'll fit between the trees, pulling up here and get in between the trees, park it, and then I could put the splitter right there and just flip the split wood right into it. And I thought for sure I'd be able to get this entire log into the trailer, but I can't. And part of me was like, oh no, I'm not going to be able to get it all in the trailer. And I was like, you know, you want to get done because you're working, you get tired. But then the other thing is, you should be happy that it doesn't all fit in one trailer because I have more wood than I was expecting. But you got both sides. Oh man, I'm just going to have to work longer. I'm going to have to do another trip back and forth. But I have more wood, and that's what I'm here for. I do have side rails that I've built for this that extend up significantly higher. I don't have them with me right here. They're down at the house. But I use those when I want to have larger loads, or also when I want to put animals in here. It creates a higher fence so the animals can't jump out. But I didn't bring that today. This wood is very wet, and if I put the rails on and loaded it all the way up to the top, I might be overloading this small trailer. So, but I can create another foot or so just by stacking up the wood on end and then throwing logs against it, and that creates just enough space that I can hold a significant amount of wood more. So just by standing these up and making sure there's wood against the base, and now I can move my load this way. All right, this is the load that I could get. I still have wood left. I've cut almost everything a little bit smaller so that they will be firewood bundle size, the people that seem to like for their firewood bundles. I've done this entire trailer, ready to make bundles out of it, probably well over 100 bundles. So I'm hoping to get over $500 in bundles for that wood. And then over here, these rounds, I'm probably going to take the trailer down, dump it, leave the trailer at the lower property, and then I'll come back and split these larger for my wood stove, and then I will keep these for my house, to keep my house warm.